InvestView. Invest in you.
Welcome back. It is a terrific Tuesday indeed here on Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. Now, we have been on a mission here to focus in on those 31 Democratic seats that were won in the midterms in districts that Donald Trump won in the presidential. And we've been highlighting candidates in many of those districts: Georgia 8, Oklahoma 5. Max Rose is my own personal mission in life here in New York 11. We have been focusing on how these people lie in their community, and then they go down to Washington and do the dirty work of Nancy Pelosi. And here to talk about a number of these seats that are vulnerable right here in New York, it's New York State Republican Party Chairman Nick Langworthy. Nick, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
You've been on the show many times. You recently took over the party. You brought a new youth and energy to the party, a new type of leadership. And I think personally that this is the golden opportunity for you to show the rest of the country and state leaders how to take charge. We got like at least 3, but possibly 5 vulnerable seats here that if these people vote for impeachment, you got to get them, Nick.
We're spreading that playing field out wide. And the president himself, last time he was here in New York, when we were talking, he said flat out, I need some of those seats back in New York. I mean, we might not be in this situation right now had, we held some of those seats in 2018. But we have to go reclaim that lost ground and then expand on top of that. And we are doing just that. We are trying to recruit the absolute best and brightest candidates that we can to put forward to stop this madness. And, to set the table for that, I've been traveling around this state and going to the districts of these members of Congress and doing just what you talked about earlier, which they're in their districts saying that they're moderate, saying that they're for common sense, saying that they think impeachment's the wrong way. Well, what was the first thing they did? They voted like lemmings for the impeachment inquiry. They went right with the crowd and did exactly what they were told by Nancy Pelosi. These members of Congress, particularly these freshmen, did exactly what they were told, even though they campaigned last year and said they would not support impeachment in the United States of America.
So what are the most vulnerable seats for the Democrats here in your state?
Well, you start right off with New York 11, and there's a seat that should have never gotten away from us. Max Rose is someone, he was the first guy to flip. First he said, I'm against it. This is a Trump plus 11 seat. And it's Staten Island, Brooklyn. I think it's critically important just for a party's health standpoint. We owe federal representation to the city of New York from the Republican Party, and we have to go take that seat back.
This guy,
that was my first stop on the tour.
This guy, Max Rose, wrote an op-ed in our local Staten Island paper saying that he is not for impeachment. It will divide the country further. He came in as a moderate, as an outsider. He wasn't going to be beholden to Nancy Pelosi. And then she pulled on his chain and reminded him that Nick Langworthy is going to mount a serious challenge against him, and he's going to need her money. And he ran right down to Washington like her lapdog, lied to Staten Island, and then went and voted with Nancy Pelosi.
He's lied to his constituents time again. That was the first stop on our Stop the Madness tour, was right outside his district office to take the fight directly to him. And he is going to have a fight on his hands every single day. And then you look as you go up the Hudson Valley. I mean, we have a retirement in Pete King. We got to hold that. I'm very confident that our leadership in Suffolk and in Nassau County are going to put the best candidate forward for that. But then, you fast forward, you look at Delgado. And Delgado is someone, another one that said he was going to be a moderate force in the Congress. He wasn't going to be beholden to the party line. And again, he just goes with the flow, knuckles under to AOC and the squad, who's really running the show. Let's face facts. They are running the show. That's why we're dealing with this impeachment right now. This is pure political theater, but it's to satisfy that extreme left base. And Delgado falls right in line. Sean Patrick Maloney is someone, that's a district Donald Trump won in 2016. Sean Patrick Maloney tried to run for statewide office and failed, and now Shel Farley is running in a very aggressive, excellent campaign against Sean Patrick Maloney. He's going to be outed for exactly the fraud that he is. He is no moderate. And then we have the critical seat that slipped away from us, between Utica and Binghamton. Broome County and Oneida County, which was represented by Claudia Tenney, that is now represented by former Assemblyman Brindisi, who was Shelley Silver's lapdog. Now he's Nancy Pelosi's lapdog.
And Claudia Tenney's running again for the seat.
She has declared her candidacy. There's a couple other candidates. She's certainly trying to close ranks.
All right, so it's New Yorkers on the Democratic side that are largely running this whole impeachment charade. Let's take a look at New York's senior Senator Chuck Schumer yesterday, who said that his colleagues on the Republican side of the aisle in the Senate are out to lunch.
Conclusively debunks the baseless conspiracy that the investigation into Mr. Trump's campaign and its ties to Russia originated with political bias. Let me repeat, so that all of those conspiracy theorists out there hear it. This report confirms that the predicate for the FBI's investigation was valid and without political bias. In fact, the report quotes the FBI Deputy General Counsel as saying, quote, "The FBI would have been derelict in our responsibility had we not opened the case."
So Chuck Schumer says this report shows no political bias. You convinced?
There's not one thing that's happened in Washington, D.C. that's not full of political bias. I mean, we're dealing with a deep state. I mean, anyone that, they try to paint us as conspiracy theorists when you talk about the institution doing that. I was on the president's transition team, and, what blew me away was when one president comes in over another. You know how many jobs change hands out of the millions in the federal government?
A handful.
5,000.
Right.
All the rest of the people remain.
Yep.
I mean, after 8 years of Barack Obama, how many people, have been planted into this system? And they have tried every single day to undermine this administration.
Hey, Nick, we just heard from Chuck Schumer there talking about how this completely and utterly debunks the whole origination story was politically motivated. Another fancy use of semantics, right? It's subjective whether or not these people did these things because of political motivation, right? We think it did. They think they don't. But I just want to read you this one of the points that was in the IG report. They omitted Carter Page, the original FISA warrant. They omitted his prior relationship with another agency, despite being reminded by the other agency in 2017. And instead of including this information in the final renewal application, the Office of General Counsel altered an email from the agency so that it said Page was not a source. So
they doctored the information.
They didn't tell the FISA court still that he was an agent. The other agency went and reminded him through email, hey, this guy, you forgot to tell the judge this. And instead of doing that, they went in and altered it. I think people in these districts need to hear this crap.
They need to hear so much that they're not hearing. I mean, the charade that we had with Adam Schiff, no one heard any facts. I mean, they heard political theater at its finest. I mean, they've known exactly what they wanted to do to this president since the minute he stepped off in the inaugural parade in 2017. And we find ourselves here. And he's going to go to the Senate and he's going to get acquitted. Because the reason they're trying to grind this economy to a halt, the reason they're trying to stop this president's progress, is because they're afraid he's going to win.
Yeah, well,
because
they know he's going to win.
That there's a silent majority out there. They don't take to the streets and protest. They go to work every day.
Yep.
They live their lives. They're excited that their 401k is there. They're excited their kids have the opportunity to get a job
They're
in this
excited
country.
Household incomes are up $5,000 in 2.5 years.
Their property values have increased.
Exactly.
Their quality of life has increased since this president went to work. And it doesn't fit the liberal regime. It doesn't fit the Obama trajectory of the country. And that's why they've tried to stop it at all costs.
Hey, Nick, we're trying to talk to that silent majority every day, those moderates, those middle-of-the-road people that can go either way. What could people do, regular people, grassroots, in their district, to put pressure on their current Democrats to, hey, you better not vote for impeachment? And then what can they do to help the party statewide and countrywide get behind these people?
If you're represented in New York State or anywhere in America by a Democratic member of Congress, you need to call them and tell them what's on your mind and how they better not vote that way, or they can kiss your vote goodbye. They need to hear that pressure, and we need to stop that dead in our tracks. If you can bust some of these Democrats loose from following the herd, I really doubt it, because most of them are lemmings that follow the campaign money.
That's right.
It's what it's about. It's about the money. It's not about their constituents or who they represent. They're worried about PAC donations. But if they can hear from their constituents, that does matter.
So we got to call them. We got to get our folks to get on the phone and call them, annoy them, harass them, do some proactive, nonviolent stuff, protest in front of their office, and maybe get out and ring some doorbells and stump for some Republican candidates to knock them out.
And beyond that, get involved with your party.
That's
I mean,
right.
we are going to be putting together very aggressive campaigns. As soon as we get past the holidays, everything's going to start. We'll be out in the street circulating petitions the last week of February.
Okay.
It's upon us.
All right. That's Nick Langworthy. Thanks for making a few minutes to join us here on Liquid Lunch. Thank you for making a few hours for us every day, noon to 2 Eastern. Stay right there. Coming back after this with some news of the day, and then Eric Early talking about impeachment.